Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's October 2020 and we had a pretty interesting month, honestly, this last 30 days. So I started the investment account. This was a month where I made 3 paychecks as well. So made $9,364 in gross income this month. One of those was a base paycheck, and then two of those had bonuses on them. I was recognized at work and got like two $500 bonuses on a couple of my checks, just for doing exceptional work. Keeping up with the demand and just all the crazy stuff going on. So that was kind of nice to see, a good surprise. So that was like $1,000 bonus that I got just as a surprise this month. But paid 1584 in taxes, 2500 in my 401k, 421 in the employee stock purchase plan, and then I took home 4803. And remember that this was a month that I made 3 paychecks, so that's why everything is so high. For my wife, she is still doing the adjunct teaching and working for the local university, so 2 jobs at the moment. So she made 5,257, put 572 in her for taxes, almost 2,000 for 401k, and same numbers for HSA insurance. So that left her with $2,263 in take-home pay. For the rental income, I have the wrong number in here. It's 2,000. No, I'm right. Sorry. So it was $2,464.91 in rent this month. So basically, the lady that lives in house number 5, I think it is, she paid a little bit late again this month. So she's paying every month, but she seems to just be one of those people that waits until the last minute to pay the bills. And it's a $5 late fee after 5 days. So like if she were to pay on November the 5th for October's rent, then she would have no late fees. But if she pays on November 6th, then she'll have to pay $30 in late fees. So there's a 5-day grace period. But gross income for the month was $17,000, and then took home only $7,000 of that. So a lot of that going to 401ks this month, almost $5,000 to 401ks. I told everyone last month that I would look into like M1 Finance and kind of a value dividend portfolio, and that's essentially what I put together here. I just have it on the same tab where I do my rental property analysis, but so this is kind of the portfolio that I've constructed. Has 25 different positions in the portfolio. Has technology sector between Apple and Microsoft. Both of those pay a dividend, even though they're not very high. There's still more. I was trying to find the balance of having a few companies that are like very value companies, like let's say Coke and AT&T. That pay higher dividends, but probably aren't going to grow as a company much more. And then have more of the portfolio towards like growth, but still growth companies that pay dividends. So Apple and Microsoft are my 2 tech companies. For healthcare, I picked Johnson & Johnson, and so I work in the healthcare industry. I do not work at Johnson & Johnson, but they are the biggest pharmaceutical company in the world. Very stable dividend company, so I picked Johnson & Johnson and then AbbVie for my 2 healthcare companies. And I tried to limit healthcare a little bit just because I have my employer stock that's all 100% in healthcare. So I wanted to limit healthcare down just a little. For real estate, I did Realty Income, which pays a monthly dividend, and then Store Capital, and I believe that's the only 2 for real estate. So that's about 10% of the portfolio. For consumer staples, I did Kroger at 7%. In my area, Kroger is the number 1 grocery store. So it's where we get our groceries. And I guess specifically in my area, they're building a lot more grocery stores. So seems like a growing company to me. It seemed to be undervalued as well at the moment. So that's why I put Kroger up at 7%. And then what else for staples? A lot of staples here. So Clorox. Clorox, I'm kind of making a bet on, I would say. I have it 4%, so it's not a huge portion of the portfolio, but with COVID and everything going around, Clorox makes like a lot of the cleaning products, and so I figured, if COVID hangs around for another year or 2, that Clorox will probably keep having good returns. Then I had Pepsi for staples. I had Coca-Cola for staples. So I did Pepsi a little bit more. They were a little bit more growth oriented than what Coca-Cola was. Where Coca-Cola pays a little bit higher of a dividend, I believe. So yeah, Pepsi and Coca-Cola, Procter and Gamble, Kimberly-Clark, and those were all of my staples. So 11, 15, 18, about 20, 22% of the portfolio is just consumer staples. For industrials, I did 3M and then Lockheed Martin are the two industrial companies that I chose. For utilities, I did NextEra Energy, which is not it's not a company that's in my area, but it's a pretty fast growing, good dividend company, just as an energy company. What else did I do for utilities here? Southern Company and then Duke Energy were the three that I picked for utilities. Oh, and Waste Management. Forgot about them down here at the bottom. Um, what else? Staples, utilities, healthcare, communications. I think I just did one company, AT&T, for communications. Their dividend's like 7%, so their stock is definitely going down in value, but hopefully the dividend offsets that a little bit. The last thing was discretionary, which I did Home Depot, Starbucks, and then McDonald's Corporation. And then for finance, I did JP Morgan and Discover Cards. So this is kind of how the portfolio is weighted. Basically, what M1 Finance will do is as I put money into this account, like if they're, let's say, I don't know, Visa just skyrockets in value and it gets up to like 3 to 4% of my portfolio. If I have it set at 2%, when I put money into the account, M1 Finance will not buy it or will not buy anymore. It'll only buy the companies that are underrepresented for my portfolio or for my pie is what they're called in M1 Finance. But yeah, so even if I put $100 in, that $100 will be equally divided up based on these percentages into each of these companies. So my game plan is I am well, I have about $100,000 in cash. We'll switch over to net worth here. I'm at $104,000 in cash, and so I guess option number one is I could take 80 to 90,000 of that and just plop it all into M1 Finance. Um, I would say $100,000 to my wife and I at the moment is like a pretty large sum of money. It's more than it's about 20% of our net worth, maybe 18% of our net worth. And so it makes me a little bit nervous putting $90,000 into M1 Finance, and I don't know where the market's going to go. I also want to use this money for, purchasing real estate or just having it in a somewhat liquid place that is earning me good money. So my game plan is just a dollar cost average over the next, I don't know, maybe 6 months. And then just slowly kind of keep putting money in M1 Finance and keep reducing the checkings account. That way, no matter what happens, if the market goes up, then half of that time I was dollar cost averaging lower. If the market goes down, then the second half of the time I'm dollar cost averaging in lower. So I don't know. It's kind of a gamble. I don't know if the market's going to go up or down. To me, it seems like it's extremely high right now, which is what makes me nervous. If it was back where it was in March, I would probably just make the decision to put the whole 90,000 in there and not think twice about it. But the fact that we're up almost 100% in the last 7 months in our investments makes me a little bit weary of putting $90,000 in there. And then if we have a crash, it goes down to 45,000. So number one goal for me is to not lose money within this account. Like obviously, I just want to make a better return than having it in my checkings account. So for this month, basically all I did was put in a little bit of money in there just to see how M1 Finance works, just to get familiar with the platform. Next month I'll probably put maybe $10,000, maybe $15,000 in there. So yeah, we'll see just how things go. Probably the goal will be about $10,000 I'll put in. But to go over everything, I made one change for properties. I've been looking at Zillow. I'm trying to be somewhat conservative. So basically, what I did was just write an equation where I take last month's value of the property and then I took basically if the house increases 2% every year, 2% divided by 12 is 0.001666 repeating. So all I'm doing is adding 2% divided by 12 to my properties every month. So basically what should happen is over the course of a year, the property value just goes up 2%, which probably doesn't even keep up with inflation and is probably going to put me in a scenario where eventually I have to readjust these to get them back to where they actually need to be. But that way I at least see some stuff moving up and it's probably a little bit more realistic. So Basically 2% moved house number 4 up to 302,503. So every month it should be going up $500 and then $200 on the 2 rental properties. I did not do that for house number 6 here, mainly because it's a house that I'm working on and flipping, which I did make some more progress on that, but still not finished with the house portion. But then no changes with the vehicles. I already talked to you about the M1 finance account. The stock market was basically flat this month. It seemed like growth stocks were a little bit down, and then some of the sectors specifically were up. So, like my wife did really well in some of her sector funds. My employee stock is just skyrocketing even more and more. I think we were at like $30 a share, and I think we're up to like $65 a share. So it's going absolutely crazy. So we've already doubled within a year. Yeah, so we've maybe hired 1,500 people. So I'm going to keep about that $10,000 in there. It's not a significant portion. It's 1/20th of my investment portfolio. So I'm not super concerned having that much within my employer stock. My 401k went down in value, so we're at 90,597. Employee stock purchase plans almost 11,000 now, so like a $1,500 increase. And then my wife's 401k actually went up $3,000 this month. So overall, it's kind of a mix between all the investments. Some things went down, some things went pretty good up. We ended up saving about $5,000 in investments overall, and 2,000 of that was just from me moving money into M1 Finance. But for debts, made the same boring payments that I do every single month. So just keep chipping away at all of this stuff. So we're at 236, 247 on house number 4. We're at 91,500 on house number 5, and we're at like 95,300 on house number 7. So still just chipping away about $700 a month in my debt. For the short-term future, I don't see my goals changing with my debt strategy. I feel like I'm in an okay position. I have good equity. All of these are 30-year fixed rate loans between 3 and 4% interest, so all pretty low, conservative, non-risky forms of debt. So I don't have credit cards or student loans or anything like that. So for the time being, I'm just going to keep making minimum payments and see how that goes. But for cash, I'm at 104,537. So even though we transferred $2,000, we made pretty decent amount in cash this month. So we saved a lot of that, about 4,500. And then for the rental checkings account, I had a few repairs that I had to make at one of the properties, and so about $800 went to those repairs. So I'm at $7,876. In rental checkings account. So I have just finally crossed over the $600,000 mark. I'm at $601,397, and I'm $159,730 ahead of my goal pace of becoming a millionaire by the age of 30. So pretty good month overall. We'll see. We'll just keep moving money into M1 Finance. We'll keep looking for real estate. I'm going to try to get house number 6 wrapped up, hopefully here in the next few months, and get it sold. We'll just see. We'll see what happens. So hopefully, hopefully things will be good and stock market will keep going up. And honestly, I'd prefer for it to go down so I could buy cheaper in M1 Finance. But I won't concern myself too much with what it does. But yeah, so for the end of October, net worth is 601,000. So pretty good month overall this month. We'll just keep pushing forward into November and hopefully close out 2020 here in a couple months pretty strong. So we'll see how things go. So thank you all for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Next month's videos are on the screen now. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, things that you'd like for me to include in future videos, just comment them down below. Thanks everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.